It is my position that we should, at a minimum, reject the bids and do a rebid this fall. I can't reconcile accepting bids 30% higher than estimates without having a firmer understanding of where the surprise increases have come. For 5 years, we've had commissioners, city departments, employees, architects, engineers, KDOT, and even federal people looking in and analyzing this project, and simply it's not acceptable to me at this time. We should be caught by this big of a surprise and not have a firmer understanding of how much this should have cost. If we look back 5 years ago, the original intent of the project was the city to take care of its own by correcting the 32nd, 33rd Street interchange and making a better connection at 41st Street. The federal government deciding to put their 2 cents in worth on the project, in this case $6 million worth of those cents, this project has ballooned to where we are today. We've been thrown curveball after curveball, and I think there's some credibility to people who are a little bit tired of the surprises. If we would have stuck to the original plan of taking care of our own, we wouldn't really be here in this position, as the roundabouts that we'd set out to do would probably already be in place. Which gives us the opportunity to not worry about delaying it further, to look at other bid opportunities, because if we've been delaying this for years already. If the short timeline of accepting bids this month is part of the problem in starting construction in 2 months where we got these higher bids, I believe stretching that timeline out where we do bids in the fall, starting construction next year, would give us an opportunity to potentially get better bids. I believe the city is in a position of strength and we should use it instead of just boring ahead because we can afford it. Step back and let it be known that we have the resources. We're not just going to be placated because of economic uncertainty to move forward. My belief as well, in these times of economic uncertainty, we will get further competitive bids in the fall as construction companies are looking for bids to keep themselves busy. I think that's part of the reason we saw high bids on these estimates, is because they factored in a margin of cost due to the uncertainty of these economics, and then they needed to keep themselves afloat going into next year if this uncertainty extends. We should not let that be used against us. Reminds me of the adage, a fool and their money are soon parted. Hayes has been fiscally strong for years, and I don't see why we just have to say, okay, let's roll the dice this time. We need to use that strength to go back and say we want better ideas of why the bids came in higher. I'm not afraid of the boogeyman of, well, what if we go back and the bids come back the same or higher in 6 months? Because we don't know. But the counter to that is simply, what if the bids come in lower? What if we look at a few alternatives to help our cause? What if we take the opportunity to look for further funding? The build grants came out of the last recession. The federal government has already shown they're going to pour money into projects, so it's my thought process simply that the odds are in our favor that if we don't have a project already going on and we wait to get the project going, additional funding will come available. But we shouldn't really worry about what could be. We can only really talk about what is. And what is are the estimates have come in 30% higher, either because we flat got the estimates wrong all along or because of the economic uncertainty. But without being able to point firmly at one or the other, in knowing what the cost should be, it is again my position to reject the bids at a minimum, rebid in the fall so we have an understanding of what has led to these prices today, and give us time to fully work through funding.